Hotel. The world is always at your fingertips. CNN Partner Hotels. Connected to your world.
This is CNN. More people get their news from CNN than any other news source.
The Saudi-backed Golf League about to crown its first ever champion after a week of conflict and controversy. The richest payday in the sport's history now on the line at this hour in England. The Steph Curry Show, Coy Wire, bringing us the very latest on the enthralling race to be crowned an NBA champion. And it's official, one of football's brightest young talents signing on the dotted line for Spanish giants Real Madrid. Live from Atlanta today, CNN World Sport begins right now. Hi there, thanks so much for joining us. Welcome to CNN's World Sport. I'm Patrick Snell. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday in what really has been a momentous and indeed divisive week for the sport of golf. We've seen drama and controversy aplenty just outside of London. This at the first ever Saudi-backed Live Golf event, which at this hour is into its third and final round. The richest prize in golf history is on offer to the winner. For the record, during Friday's round two, it would be South Africa's Charles Schwartzel, a former Masters champion who opened up a three-shot lead after a 4-under par 66 on day two. Now, the winner of the individual event in the 48-man field will bank a staggering $4 million. In fact, the player who finishes fourth will be earning over $1 million. This series also attracting the likes of six-time major winner Phil Mickelson and former top-ranked men's golfer in the world, Dustin Johnson. Well, on Friday, we learned another very high-profile name, the 10-time PGA Tour winner and 2020 US Open champion Bryson DeChambeau is the latest big-name player to join the Saudi-backed series. Live Golf CEO Greg Norman calling the American a player who's, quote, committed to pushing the boundaries in pursuit of excellence. Just the latest plot twist in a week of so many of them. CNN's Brian Todd now.
Top sports figures again converging with politics and drawing controversy. The PGA Tour has suspended some of golf's biggest stars who've decided to play in a new breakaway golf series called Live Golf, backed by a Saudi wealth fund chaired by Mohammed bin Salman, known as MBS, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, and the man who U.S. intelligence said approved the operation which led to the murder and dismemberment of Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi in 2018. Which bin Salman has denied.
These are significant names in the world of golf who are making this jump to this new entity, and the PGA Tour finds himself in a really, really precarious position right now.
The biggest names to jump to the Saudi series, former world #1 player Dustin Johnson, former U.S. Open champion Bryson DeChambeau, and the player whose jump has caused the most controversy, six-time major tournament winner Phil Mickelson. Mickelson and Johnson are each reportedly getting a 9-figure payout to take part in the Saudi series. Earlier this year, the author of a biography on Mickelson quoted the golfer as saying of the Saudis, they're scary mother effers to get involved with. They execute people over there for being gay. Knowing all of this, why would I even consider it? Because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to reshape how the PGA Tour operates. This week, Mickelson said he doesn't condone human rights violations.
I'm certainly aware of what has happened with Jamal Khashoggi, and I think it's terrible. I've also seen the good that the game of golf has done throughout history, and I believe that Live Golf is going to do a lot of good for the game as well.
Hardly satisfying to Mickelson's critics.
He knows where the money's coming from, and he's doing it willingly, and he's helping MBS to burnish his image. He has really been bribed to be a part of the PR machine of the Saudis.
Mickelson's not the only golf star who's been criticized for downplaying Saudi human rights abuses. Former world #1 player Greg Norman, now the CEO of Live Golf, was quoted recently as saying, look, we've all made mistakes, and you just want to learn by those mistakes and how you can correct them going forward. Some critics accuse the Saudis of so-called sports washing, sponsoring lucrative sporting events in an effort to clean up their reputation. One analyst says that's only part of the kingdom's ambition.
They want to go from 30 million tourists a year right now to 100 million in the next 15, 20 years. They're building golf courses, they're building beach communities, they've got a Six Flags amusement park they're building, they've got Mariah Carey concerts.
One of the biggest questions here remains only partially answered. Tiger Woods has reportedly rejected a massive payday offered by LIV Golf. But many eyes in the golf world are still watching to see if Woods will definitively renounce the Saudi Golf Series. Brian Todd, CNN, Washington.
Thanks to Brian there. Well, meantime, happening at the same time as the LIV Golf event is the PGA Tour's Canadian Open, where Dustin Johnson, for the record, is a former champion. Remember, the PGA Tour earlier this week suspending all golfers competing in the breakaway series. Meantime, 2019 Canadian Open winner Rory McIlroy, in fact, he remains the defending champion, making a real statement on Friday with a pair of late birdies at 15 and 17 to get to within one shot of the leader. Rory having started the day 3 shots back, so very much in contention is the Northern Irishman. Now, it's going to be the USA's Wyndham Clark, who's at 7 under par through the first 2 rounds there in Toronto, and he leads the way as England's Matt Fitzpatrick enduring a really torrid time late on in his round. Clark keeping his cool, though, to record a level par 70, and very much in the mix for a first-ever PGA Tour title, he hopes. Next up, checking in on basketball's NBA Finals, the Boston Celtics may have thought a 3-1 series lead was within reach, but Steph Curry and the Warriors, well, they clearly had other ideas. Just ahead right here on CNN's World Sports. Stay with us.
Back in person, the 2022 Afreximbank annual meetings will bring together high-profile continental and global leaders to harness and leverage Africa's incredible potential. Register now.
The world's biggest business stories from every corner of the globe. Marketplace Africa, Asia, Europe, and Middle East.
Afghan women are afraid that this is the beginning of your efforts to erase them from the workspace.
It's not clear. Even if we appear with the burqa, maybe they will say that women's voices are forbidden.
Did you ever imagine that you would be prevented from going to school?
Girls' education is fundamental to the dignity of Afghan life.
Do you believe that young girls will be allowed to go to school here in Afghanistan?
On Culinary Journeys, meet Japan's Natsuko Shoji, a chef earning rave reviews. Inspired by art, she is a rising star in French cuisine and in an industry where men dominate. See how she overcame life's challenges despite the odds and is now paving the way for a new generation. Culinary Journeys, Sunday on CNN, in association with Ajinomoto.
Back now with Formula One and qualifying ahead of this weekend's Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And once again, this would prove to be a highly encouraging day for Ferrari star Charles Leclerc, who within the last few minutes, we can tell you, has secured pole position going into Sunday's big race at the Baku Street Circuit. Leclerc finishing clear Red Bull stars Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen, his 6th pole position of the season. He'll feel, though, he needs to convert those into more victories. We'll see. Here in the United States, it's honours even through the first 4 games of this year's NBA Finals between the Golden State Warriors and the Boston Celtics. And let's just call the latest installment of this best-of-7 series the Steph Curry Show. Koi Wire now.
Hi, Pat. Just as passionate fans can empower a home team, they can just as successfully perturb an opponent. And Warriors star Klay Thompson even admitted that Celtics fans got to them in their loss on Wednesday. And Boston crowd was loud for Game 4 Friday, too. But the great ones make themselves immune to it. 34-year-old Steph Curry, despite an injured foot and not getting much help from teammates, willed his team to a win. 43 points, becoming the second oldest player behind LeBron with 40 points and 10 rebounds in a finals game. The Warriors are fighters. Curry's their heartbeat. A 107-97 win. Series tied at 2 now with Game 5 back in San Francisco Monday. And Golden State has never lost a playoff series under Coach Steve Kerr when it's been 2-2. Here's Curry after the game.
It's crazy because I still feel like we can play just a little bit better. But to win on the road and get home court advantage back, big for this group.
I could tell in his demeanor last couple of days, even after Game 3, that he was going to come out with that type of fire, and he did, and we were all able to follow it.
Now, Pat, Steph Curry's back might be hurting. He's been carrying his team all series long. Other Warriors stars like Draymond Green, who we just heard from, have been on the struggle bus. Just 17 points in all for Green this series. With only 2 points this game, even his mom put him on blast, tweeting, "Please, people, stop asking me what's wrong with Dre. I don't know. Maybe this is a clone. Where's the Draymond that helped get us here?" She says she's never seen this either. And you know you were bad when even mom throws you under the bus. But the Warriors got the win. As for the Celtics, they look like they ran out of gas. Even their Jason Tatum commented on the long flight coming up before Monday's Game 5. That, and now Draymond Green getting some trash talk from mom. It might be bye-bye time for Boston.
Game 5, so important. Thanks to Coy there. Here on World Sport this Saturday, we've got a 3-time NBA champ coming up next. And when Dwayne Wade speaks, it's no wonder people really do sit up and take notice.
Our kids are not safe in school. This is went way too far. And I know everyone has their beliefs in this world, but can we just all be human for a moment?
Summer in Abu Dhabi. It's everything you want, but so much more than you'd expect. It's relaxing days at the pool in water as chilled as your drink. It's bonding with family, but upside down. And even more so, it's burning rubber on an F1 racetrack, roller coasters breaking records. It's seizing the day or owning the night. It's literally drinking 23 karat gold. It's uniquely designed to make it the summer of your dreams. Abu Dhabi has everything you need to summer like you mean it.
Through investment in STEM schools, Egypt has committed to building a more diverse and inclusive workforce. They are encouraging women and girls across the country to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. By ensuring that they are not just represented, but are also empowered to thrive across all sectors, Egypt has demonstrated their commitment to investing in the country's youth and in the mission to achieve sustainable development goals.
Coronavirus. To get daily news updates in your inbox, sign up for the CNN newsletter. Coronavirus. Fact versus fiction.
All right, you guys ready?
Alex Jones.
Those thought patterns, the 3 percenters, QAnon group, or the anti-vaxxers, they all originate from Alex.
How much damage can one man do to school shooting victims?
Alex Jones lied about Sandy Hook.
And the country.
The people who listen to him believe the things that he says.
CNN asks those who know him.
He's not like you or me.
Truth doesn't really matter at all.
CNN Special Report, Megaphone for Conspiracy. Alex Jones, Monday on CNN.
Now, if you've been watching CNN in recent weeks, you'll have seen the continuing coverage, this in the wake of the tragic killing of 21 people, including 19 children at a school in Texas. It came just days after 10 people died in a shooting at a supermarket in New York. It's led to a host of sporting franchises joining the calls to implement stronger relations and regulations on gun ownership here in the United States. T-shirts worn in the run-up to games. The New York Yankees and Tampa Bay Rays using their social media accounts to raise awareness of the tragedy of gun violence. And you can't forget the incredibly impassioned speech from the head coach of the NBA's Golden State Warriors.
When are we going to do something?
I'm tired. I'm so tired of getting up here and offering condolences to the devastated families that are out there. I'm so tired of the, I'm sorry, I'm tired of the moments of silence. Enough.
Former Miami Heat star Dwayne Wade has admitted he has sleepless nights over the dangers his children face when they go to school. He's lost several family members to gun violence over the years, as he told CNN's Poppy Harlow when they sat down at the Time 100 summit.
My kids going to school right now doesn't allow me to sleep at night very well.
Because of guns?
Because of guns.
Yeah, me too.
Guns has been, in my family, it has not been, you know, a positive in my family at all.
Your cousin died to gun violence.
I've lost a few cousins to gun violence. And, you know, I grew up in the inner city. I had a lot of cousins that was, you know, in gangs that I lost, but I lost a lot to senseless acts of gun violence. You know, my cousin was taking her kids to school and got gunned down. And so for me, when you're a parent, everything goes out the window of whatever your thoughts are, your beliefs are of, hey, this is what I stand for. Just the other day, I feel like as people, we all shift a few days ago. I think we continue to keep shifting. We shifted in Parkland in Florida when it happened. It shifted our mindset. It shifted how, like, think about this. When we grew up, we went to school, it was just, hey, kids off to school, that is the safest place to be. Don't be out on the street, go to school. And now it's not the safest place
I
to
wait
be.
for 3 o'clock every day.
Yeah, I'm afraid being
Every day.
here and not being in LA close to my kids.
Yeah.
Now, we were just talking about this at lunch. Like, you know, like, and just to share a story, I went to my daughter Zaya's recital at the end of the year. And beautiful recital. These kids have worked amazing. They worked hard for this. But the whole time, all I could think about is my exit. All I could think about is what I'm going to do. My daughter's backstage. My son's right here.
How do I get out?
How do I get out? But how do I get to them? How do I
get
protect
them
them? How do I get them out? How do I, like, I'm just thinking about that the entire time.
That's not normal.
No.
But this is America. So you tweeted after the Uvalde shooting what seemed to be, to me, a message to lawmakers. Tell me if it wasn't. Why have all that power and not do everything in your power to protect our children and our elderly? Who were you talking to and what were you saying?
Yeah, I was talking to the lawmakers. You know, this world is ran by money and power. And, you know, to me, this is all it is. This is a money thing. This is a power move. And we're losing. I mean, our kids are not safe in school. This just went way too far. And I know everyone has their, you know, beliefs in this world, but can we just all be human for a moment? Can we all just understand that our kids are losing their lives, right? And they're not getting a chance to become. Like, we're sitting in here and we've all had a chance to become something. Our kids not even getting a chance to become anything. And so for me, it was like, listen, let's just take all the politics out. Let's take I'm Republican. Let's take all that out. We're human. This is a human act that's happening, and it's sad.
And what if they don't again? What if they don't act again? What if Washington doesn't change anything?
Keep getting louder. Keep screaming. Keep supporting people on the ground that's doing things. We have foundations. We have Social Change Fund I'm a part of. We have all these things to be able to help continue to fight. That's what it was when we took that stage with Carmelo, Chris Paul, myself, and Melo. It was about, hey, we got to put pressure. And we're going to take one of the biggest moments in sports to start to show off this way to put pressure. And that was 10 years ago. And here we go, right back here again.
Well, you know these laws only change by the people who change them, right? So I didn't think about asking you this, but I just thought it. Would you ever run for any sort of office?
I'm not there yet.
Another political answer.
I've never thought about that. I have no idea. I would not say no as I sit here.
Okay.
But I'm a parent. I'm a community. I'm a community leader. I'm a part of the community. You know, so I think it gets to the point sometime where you just there's only so much you can do, right? I think sometimes all of us, we feel hopeless. We feel helpless sometimes. There's only so much we can do. So I don't know. But it's not in my future, not my 5-year goal.
Very powerful words indeed there. Now, thanks to Dwayne Wade speaking with Poppy. Well, they say a picture is worth indeed 1,000 words, but does it always tell the true story? Stay with us. World Sport coming right back.
Back in person, the 2022 Afreximbank annual meetings will bring together high-profile continental and global leaders to harness and leverage Africa's incredible potential. Register now.
June 20th, a CNN concert event. Let's celebrate, educate, and lift every voice. Juneteenth, a global celebration for freedom. Live from the Hollywood Bowl, only on CNN.
Heard it all before? But have you heard it like this?
The ultimate disruptor looks set to shake up our world. We really can't ignore the impact that this has. What can we do that explores a fresh angle? So let's untangle the players and political forces. The truth is a lot more complex. What's really going on?
Fast-paced news, in-depth reports, and fact checks from the perspective of The Global Brief with Bianca Nobilo. Weeknights on CNN.
All new African Voices Changemakers. Create opportunities. Impact communities. Transform lives. Meet the photographers who are capturing stories on equality and social justice.
I felt that it was my responsibility to document our realities.
African Voices Changemakers, this weekend on CNN, in association with Glow.
Welcome back to you. Elle magazine in the United Kingdom has published a special edition this week with 3 front covers featuring some pretty incredible images of the stars of women's football. Stars set to shine at next month's European Championships in England, including the likes of Pernille Harder and Magda Eriksson, Beth Mead and Lucy Bronze. They say a picture can paint 1,000 words, but it can also set the agenda too. And it's for that reason there's been a fascinating exhibition in London called In Focus, Women's Sport Through the Lens, looking at the portrayal of women in sport over the last 50 years through some of the most iconic photos. One of the exhibition's curators, Anna Kessel, the women's sports editor at the British paper The Telegraph, speaking to Amanda Davis about some of her favourite images.
The thing about women's sport is that it's so invisible and has been so invisible for so long. I mean, it's only recently that we've really started to see a change, particularly in sports media. So the idea behind this exhibition was to really put women's sport up on the biggest platform that we could and show people how powerful and impactful these images are.
Let's kick off with a really iconic image. Serena at Roland Garros. This catsuit was banned though, wasn't it? Do you think it would have been banned if somebody else had worn it?
That's a hard question to answer. When you consider that actually one of the courts at Roland Garros is named after a French icon called Suzanne Lenglen, who famously stripped off her corsets and was a total rebel. She used to drink brandy by the courtside and did all sorts of things that were extremely controversial. She's celebrated, and yet, you know, decades and decades later, Serena wearing a medical outfit is banned.
What do you see when you look at this picture of Taylor Harris?
I sort of see 2 things. One makes me feel quite uncomfortable because there's this kind of focus around her groin that, you know, I think for a lot of women makes us feel vulnerable. It feels like an intimate area that you don't really want to share. I think it was, you know, the pylons that resulted off the back of it, the trolling that she received, and then her brilliant put-down response that was like, you know, this is just me doing my day job. And then I think people began to see the picture in different ways and began to say, actually, oh my goodness, look at the athleticism here. Look at the power, look at the determination and focus in her face, which is so incredible, which is why, you know, eventually a statue was actually built to honour this moment.
Sarah's story. Why have you chosen this one?
Sarah has always done things on her own terms. She talked a lot about breastfeeding, and she actually breastfed her daughter until quite an older age. I think it was sort of around 3 or so. And she spoke very openly about that journey. These were conversations that we'd never heard a sportswoman talk about before, and I think resonated across the population at a time where we were still kind of working out, how do we feel about breastfeeding? Can we even breastfeed in public?
In terms of moments shared publicly, this is up there.
Sophie Power, in the middle of an ultra marathon, I think it was about 44 hours long or something insane. The whole reason that she was at this race just 3 months postpartum was because she was refused permission to defer her entry. So you can defer race entry, for example, if you have jury service, or it could be for injury, but for pregnancy, for many races around the world, you are not allowed to. And she wanted to make a stand against this. She thought it was wrong. She knew that women worked incredibly hard to achieve the times that they did, and you might fall pregnant at a time where you don't expect to, and then to have to forfeit all of that hard work, all of that training, just because of pregnancy and start all over again felt wrong.
And this is one of those moments where sport is leading the way, in many ways educating society as to these issues that a lot of people don't know about.
I think Caster Semenya is a really good example of that. You know, a DSD athlete, differences of sexual development. I remember covering her story actually in Berlin at that first World Championships and feeling quite upset at, as sports media, we fumbled for the language. You know, there were terms that were being used that were very archaic, that weren't appropriate. Finally, we now have, I think, what's accepted, DSD, as an appropriate term. And I remember that a mother wrote to me of a DSD child, and she said to me, "Thank you so much for the coverage of Semenya, because we're struggling with this and people don't understand it."
Do women need to be more open than men in terms of showing the reality, do you think?
Women are sort of expected to pour out their lives and give us everything, give us these backstories, give us their time, give us more of themselves in a way that I don't think men really are. And I think that's about not really trusting that sportswomen deserve our interest in the same way that sportsmen apparently do.
Really iconic images there. Thanks, Amanda and Anna as well. This Saturday, we're learning recently recrowned European champions Real Madrid have confirmed the signing of one of the brightest young talents in world footy, the French international midfielder Aurélien Tchouameni, the 22-year-old Monaco star, joining Los Blancos on a 6-year deal. Expected that he'll be officially unveiled Tuesday after a medical. Tchouameni making 35 league appearances for the Liga and team last season, netting 3 times the deal, reportedly worth in excess of around $80 million. For the World Sport teams worldwide, thank you so much for joining us. We're back at 5 p.m. Eastern here in the US. That's 11 p.m. for viewers right across Central Europe. Stay with CNN. Thanks for watching, and as ever, take care. Bye for now.
I sold my car to pursue my dream of making undercover boots a reality. I moved back home to my childhood bedroom. With a little help from my friends, my idea started to come to life. Boots that were fun, colorful. Sure, I made some mistakes, like when my first shipment turned my mom's home into a warehouse. But I persisted. And with great partners like DHL, we are leaving positive footprints all over the world.
You can help the refugees from Ukraine. Join the over 80,000 who've already raised millions for food, shelter, and more. Explore cnn.com/impact. Click to take action.
Business is all about making connections. But some connections are easier to make than others. With a CNN partner hotel, the world is always at your fingertips. CNN partner hotels, connected to your world.
This is CNN. More people get their news from CNN than any other news source.
Living Golf, in association with Gulf Saudi.
After more than 2 years of border closures due to the pandemic, countries in Southeast Asia are opening back up. From Thailand to Vietnam, a host of unique golf courses are on offer.
The speed at which golf is developing in this country is phenomenal.
And young homegrown talents making golf history.
I think the thing with Thai golfers is that we're very fortunate.
The region is betting big on golf as a symbol of economic development and a rising middle class.
There's no gender, no age, no limitation in golf. Everyone can play together.
On this month's Living Golf, we'll visit Asia's first replica course. Check out the action at a tournament in Thailand.
Can't disappoint when CNN's here.
And find out why Vietnam is angling to become the world's best golfing destination.
More than ever before, elite golf is a young person's sport. At present, the average age of the world's male top 10 players is just 28, and nowhere is that better exemplified than in Thailand, where we caught up with a teen sensation who's having a massive impact and really building on his country's proud legacy.
Whether it's golfing legend Tiger Woods, whose mother Kuntida comes from Kanchanaburi, Thailand.
There's a part of the Thai people that all look up to him because he's half of us, basically.
Thai pro golfer Thongchai Jaidee, with 20 professional wins under his belt.
He's Asian Tour legend, won the European Tour several times, and I've been very fortunate to meet him in person.
Or rising star Patty Tavatanakit, a Bangkok native who became her country's first major winner at the 2021 ANA Inspiration. There's something in the water in Thailand that's producing top talent.
I think the thing with Thai golfers is that we're very fortunate as juniors. Like, we would have tournament every single week, and I think Thai parents are pretty competitive as well, so they push their kids hard, and those who come out still loving the game of golf, I think, can go really far.
Ratchanon Chantananawat, aka TK, is a Thai golf sensation.
A 15-year-old wonderkind who first picked up a club at the tender age of 3.5, heavily influenced by his father.
My dad especially had a lot of love for the game, and I just followed him to the range, started hitting plastic balls, plastic clubs, and apparently I was flying it okay, and then he got me into some proper clubs a little bit later than that, and then he took me to compete when I was a little bit past 4 for the first time. My dad loved Tiger. I watch his replays, and he'd tell me stories of all his great accomplishments.
TK, whose nickname is a combination of the first initials of his parents' names, says he still remembers experiencing his first loss when he was 4.
I saw the kid who got the trophy, and I got really, really jealous, and I didn't know why I didn't get one, so I was really upset, and then my dad had to explain to me how he won, so he got the trophy. So for that next month, he practiced me really hard, and I got a trophy. After that, I enjoyed that, and I think I just developed a love for golf.
That love for golf has taken him far. In January, he almost became the youngest ever winner at 14 years old on the Asian Tour at the Singapore International.
I finished third in my first ever international pro event, so that was great.
Today at the Siam Country Club in the beachside town of Pattaya, TK is playing the Trust Golf Asian Mixed Series, a competition held jointly on the Asian Tour and Ladies European Tour.
I can't disappoint when CNN's here. Honestly, a Ladies European Tour, I don't know what they're like. I don't know how good they can play. With an Asian Tour field, I'm pretty confident, but this week, I think I'm just not going to overlook the cut line.
With his father caddying, TK says that his life revolves entirely around school and golf. He says he doesn't have plans to turn pro just yet and is considering studying physics in college.
So I think that one of the pitfalls that people really try to warn me is burning out, because obviously I practice pretty hard, especially when I don't have school. I practice really hard, 7, 8, 9 hours a day. I don't get much day offs, and people tell me just watch out, take a day off, don't burn out. But I don't see it happening. I love golf, I love practicing. Yes, it's hard, it hurts, and it takes in a lot of discipline, but even just 2 months of super hard work just to get that one good shot or just a good result, I think it pays off for me.
And pay off it did. TK was on fire, shooting a 7-under par 65 to finish on 20 under and claim the $750,000 Trust Golf Asian Mixed Cup, thus becoming the youngest ever male player to win on one of golf's major tours. But the newly crowned champ doesn't let himself dwell on the historic moment for too long.
Trying to balance school and golf is really hard because, it's very stereotypical, not just golf, but apparently if you're an athlete, you can't do good in school. I'm trying to change that. I'd love to do well in both and prove all the doubters wrong.
When you grow more, you'll naturally have more to balance. With an expanding community of female entrepreneurs and 22% of working Africans starting businesses, support for new and growing enterprises across the continent has never been more important. Access Bank's digital loans have so far provided over 260 billion naira to upwards of 1.8 million customers and counting. Access, more than banking.
On Culinary Journeys, meet Japan's Natsuko Shoji, a chef earning rave reviews. Inspired by art, she is a rising star in French cuisine and in an industry where men dominate. See how she overcame life's challenges despite the odds and is now paving the way for a new generation. Culinary Journeys, Sunday on CNN, in association with Ajinomoto.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on a roll, here we go,
Got it.
yeah, on a roll, here we go,
Nurturing young golfers, whether amateur or professional, requires investment in competitive opportunities and title sponsorships. In Southeast Asia, the return of the Asian Tour this year after a 20-month hiatus due to the pandemic spells big opportunity for the region's players.
30 minutes from pleasure-seeking Pattaya is the Siam Country Club Waterside. An 18-hole par 72 course featuring lakes and creeks spread over 300 acres. In April, the course played host to the Trust Golf Asian Mixed Series, a collaboration between the Asian Tour and the Ladies European Tour. For CEO and Commissioner of the Asian Tour, Cho Min Tant, it's a relief to see players back on the fairway.
Coming back out of the COVID pandemic, we really didn't know where we would be. We're lucky to be in this position where we've actually come back stronger than ever.
Tant calls 2022 a rebirth for the Asian Tour. After a long 20 months of pandemic-related inactivity, he's come to Pattaya to attend the tour's first ever mixed event.
And the thing that excites me the most is the untapped potential in Asia. I mean, there's lots of destinations which are very familiar to tourists in terms of golf tourism. You've got Thailand, which is #1 on everyone's travel list. You've got Indonesia with destinations like Bali. You've got the Philippines, you've got Vietnam, you've got Singapore, Malaysia. And I feel that it's very underdeveloped, and there's an opportunity for us to really grow in these markets.
Thai entrepreneur Prin Singanat is also bullish on the future of the sport in her country. In 2019, she founded Trust Golf, a development centre in Bangkok where technology like augmented reality and robotics is being leveraged to empower golfers with data on their performance. For Singanat, it's also about sponsoring tournaments.
We have the talent, but we need the stage for them to play. So to create that opportunity for the kids to play, it means I got to own a tournament. I got to create the tournament. I got to sponsor the tournament so that I can get that exemptions for all this that I'm incubating to play.
As a trained physicist, Singanat approaches the incubation of Thai talent with a scientific rigor. Her hypothesis that young players need inspiration, development, and most crucially, the opportunity to compete.
After being nurtured here in Thailand for a while, are they ready to step up? Are they ready to go out there? Seeing the leaderboard, I'm pleased. I cannot be more proud. Lots of Thai flag is out there already.
We like to show the kids out there that golf is a viable career. And now that the prize monies and the number of tournaments on the Asian Tour is increasing, I hope they look at golf as a viable option as a career.
Singanat says she's also motivated by more personal reasons.
I'm a selfish mom. The only sport that would allow me, when I'm 50, that my son would also take me to play and to introduce with his friend is the golf course. So that is part of it. And there's no gender, no age, no limitation in golf. Everyone can play together. So that's the thing.
For Tant, this moment is a new era for Asian golf.
I'm really happy to see the Asian Tour growing, and instead of our players having to go to Europe and go to other tours to make a good living, they're hopefully going to stay in Asia and develop their skills right here in front of us and become world-class players by playing in Asia.
It's about pathway. I'm creating a pathway for the golfer right now. It's not only for us in Thailand, but right now, because as a Thai, I need a subject. I need a subject to prove my theory that if we provide them inspiration, development, and opportunity, anyone in this entire world, giving them that, they can go somewhere within 2 years, they'll make a blast. You can create a star.
holds barred.
Out front tonight, hypocrite in chief.
No nonsense.
How stupid do you think we are?
Because getting to the truth matters. Aaron Burnett out front, Tuesday to Saturday on CNN.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On a roll, here we go.
Got it.
Yeah. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
Visiting the world's most famous golf courses from Scotland to the United States requires deep pockets and ample leisure time. But just outside Thailand's capital, we visited a replica golf course, which might just be the next best thing.
As many as 63 holes pepper the Royal Gems City Golf Club, an hour's drive outside of Bangkok. And what makes this 560-acre property special might be a familiar sight to any golf enthusiast. Billing itself as Asia's first replica course, RG City boasts 18 holes that are inspired by some of the world's most iconic golf courses. There's the notorious Amen Corner from Augusta National, as well as the picturesque postage stamp from Scotland's Royal Troon.
Fortunately, my first shot found the Churchview bunker here at the inspired hole of Oakmont number 4. Well, that was a good shot. Many golfers aspire to play at the holes they see on TV, although it's difficult because the clubs that are featured in the professional tournaments are either private members clubs that don't allow visitors or very, very expensive.
Mark Siegel is the owner and managing director of Golf Asian, one of Southeast Asia's largest golf tour operators. Siegel says the main draw of this Thai course is that visitors can play largely faithful facsimiles of golf's most rarefied locales.
Okay, here we are at a hole that's been inspired by the TPC Sawgrass 17th hole, which is normally played as the 71st hole of the Tournament Players Championship. About approximately 1 month ago, this hole was played in 0-degree weather. Today we're in 90-degree weather.
With its peninsula concept for the green, this replica hole mimics its Floridian original down to the lone tree perched on a small island.
This course consists of 2 nines. The front 9 are in holes that are inspired by 9 famous holes from around the world. 4 of them are from the United States, and then 4 of them are from Europe and one from England. So we can go back and forth between Florida and the UK in about 10 steps, whereas a supersonic transport couldn't even make it that quick. The back 9's a little different. It's 9 holes inspired by the back 9 of Augusta National from Augusta, Georgia.
In 1997, Siegel founded Golf Asian in Bangkok with an aim to give lessons to golf tourists. He says his company pivoted quickly to organizing golf vacations. For him, the biggest appeal for golfers traveling to Southeast Asia might not actually be the golf itself.
The value of coming to Southeast Asia to play golf is not the golf. If someone wants to play good golf, I have one recommendation for them: stay home, because there's very, very good golf in most countries of the world. The attraction to play golf in Asia is really the outside of the golf, particularly the service, the costs, the culture, the weather, and friendship that people make when they're traveling.
Golf came to Southeast Asia as a result of colonialism and exchanges with Europeans. The French built the first course in Vietnam in the 1920s, while golf was introduced to Thailand in the late 1800s by members of the royal family after their travels to Europe. Today, Thailand is home to more than 250 golf courses. And despite the lack of tourism over the last couple of years, Siegel says that courses in Thailand actually benefited during the pandemic.
The domestic demand for golf here, Vietnam and most other countries is up 15–20% from the pre-pandemic levels already. A, it's a very socially distant sport compared to others. B, the golfers had no place to travel to, so they played more at home. And C, a lot of people had a lot of time, so golf takes a lot of time. Entering the sport was a good time to do that.
As for the state of golf tourism in the region, Siegel says it'll take some time to recover, and that courses like RG City are one of the ways to lure golfers to the region.
We started to see business pick up about 6 months ago. We're maybe about 15% of the pre-pandemic levels now. I think it'll take 1 or 2 more years to get back up to 2019 levels. So one of the best things about living here and golfing here is a 365-day-a-year sport. The temperature is hot and humid throughout the years, so it's minimal to golf all the time.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on a roll, here we go, here we go.
Got it.
Yeah. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
After more than 2 years of border closures, Vietnam is once again open for business, and the Southeast Asian country is betting big on golf tourism. With dozens of courses dotted along its 3,000 kilometers of coastline, Vietnam was awarded World's Best Golf Destination at the World Golf Awards in 2021. And we traveled there to find out why.
There are 4 promising Vietnamese junior golfers between 10 and 15 years old. Today they're being trained by Tang Thi Nung, Vietnam's first female professional golfer turned coach.
My ambition and my goal for junior in Vietnam is actually first I want to build up as many junior play golf as I can. I'm not so much focused about the quality and the level of play, but I just want a lot of junior play and they have fun and they have opportunity to know golf and learn about golf.
Nung says that introducing as many youngsters to the sport as possible makes sense in light of what she calls a booming golf industry in the country. These young golfers are playing at the Bluffs Ho Tram Strip, opened in 2014 and a 3-hour drive from Ho Chi Minh City. It's an 18-hole championship golf course set amid the windswept dunes of southern Vietnam and designed by the great white shark, Greg Norman.
You only need to look at the piece of land that Greg Norman was gifted to work with. You know, it's a wonderful piece of land so close to the ocean. And the undulations and the dunes that have been formed over hundreds and hundreds of years lean perfectly to a links-style golf course, which this is.
Gary Dixon is the golf general manager of the Bluffs. He says the pace of golf's development in Vietnam reminds him of his native Australia back in the 1980s.
The speed at which golf is developing in this country is phenomenal. I've never seen anything like it before.
In the resort-strewn coastal city of Da Nang in central Vietnam, Another property is noted for being the home of 2 courses, designed by golfing greats Greg Norman and Jack Nicklaus.
Here you have the Norman course, which was the first course in Da Nang. It's a very natural links course called the Dunes, and it has the most wonderful topography and challenge and coastal views and mature trees and rolling links. And it's a really classic golf course that's been in the top 100 in the world for many, many years now.